Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm returning to you this afternoon, early afternoon, I guess you could say, for a TV show review. And then the next video is going to be a track review, but that's going to be a little bit later, unfortunately, because I got to go run some errands again. So, yeah, this is for The Rings of Power. The Lord of the Rings of Power, Season 1, Episode 1 review that I'm going to be reviewing that I watched for last night's pretty lengthy episode. So I'm going to discuss what I watched for this The Rings of Power Season 1, Episode 1, um, on what I watched and experienced watching the show and let you know my thoughts on it. So let's dive into this Season 1, Episode 1 review. Now, pretty much it's basically around the time with Morgoth or whatever was slain and they killed him. He's like the master ahead of, he was like before Sauron, and then Sauron came in and they're trying to hunt him down now, and he's just fleeing like a little bitch, honestly. I'm just kidding, but seriously, they're trying to basically capture Sauron and kill him, of course, to make sure the evil is gone. And Galadriel, the girl or whatever, I guess the witch elf or whatever for the time of the Lord of the Rings movies and all that, she was actually pretty badass in this. I really liked her character in this show. And basically, Elrond is like younger at the time, and I guess his father is like king or something. I'm not 100% sure. It's a certain king that's taken over Lindon or whatever, I think is what it's called. But basically, what was it? This show was actually really good. I really enjoyed this episode. That's what I'm trying to say, and then I'm losing my train of thought. I'm trying to explain it the best way I can, so you guys get a brief summary of what you're going to be getting into with this show. But it is like an hour and 5 minutes long of an episode, and I believe Gandalf comes in at the very end of the episode, which is pretty cool. He gets touched down, like he's like a certain being from outer space or whatever, I guess you could say. So that's how they're explaining it, I guess. But it is pretty cool. The setup for this show was really good, and the premise and all that was spot on, very good. I think this show is very excellent, for sure. I really love how it's portraying the before the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit series and all that. But it does a very good job with what it's going for. So I can't wait to see the next episode, which is episode 2. Um, I will be reviewing episode 2 later today. I don't know when. I gotta see what I'm doing at the time. But basically, um, Galadriel's hunting for Sauron, and she thinks the evil's not dead, and so the other elves think that Sauron is dead, and I'm like, I wouldn't be so sure. So, yeah, they think the hunt is over for Sauron because they've been following Galadriel for so long that they got tired and had enough with hunting him and all that. And give me a moment, guys. I gotta answer this phone call. Sorry about that, guys. Had to answer a phone call for a second. I was getting a phone call for a second for this job I was applying for, but basically, overall, I think The Rings of Power was a really good episode. It explains the backstories of basically Galadriel, I guess the Hobbsfoots or whatever is what they're called, and also the, what is it, some of the orcs and all that, and certain high elves and guard elves and other things like that. And Gandalf doesn't come in until I think the second episode, but it was towards the end of the first episode where you see an asteroid about ready to touch down on the Middle Earth and all that. So it's pretty cool how this show was set up. And Galadriel was on this ship ready to go to a safe haven somewhere in Otherworld, and she realizes the evil was not dead, and so she decides to jump off the ship and uh, goes in the water and basically is heading back to Lindon, uh, place where Elrond is, her friend, and all that. So overall, I think, what is it? The Rings of Power, the Lord of the Rings show was really good. Really enjoyed it. Had a good time watching it. And first score for me, I'm giving episode 1 a 10 out of 10. It was really good in my opinion. I really enjoyed this show. Had a good premise. It was set up very well. I think anything with Lord of the Rings is going to be good, for sure. They just have to have a good script, of course. And this was a really good script, for sure. So, yeah, definitely worth checking out this episode. For episode 1, I will be reviewing episode 2 sometime in, like, the next day or so, or something. Or probably sooner, I don't know. I gotta start a new job on Friday. It's outside work, unfortunately, but I'm gonna make sure I hydrate a lot. For sure. So, comment below. Let me know what you guys thought of the episode 1 of season 1 for Lord of the Rings of Power. If you, sorry if I'm pausing and trying to say what I'm trying to say. If you watch this episode, is what I meant to say. I'm really sorry that I paused for a second. I just got a little sidetracked with this new job I just got, and yeah, I'm gonna definitely commit to this job for sure. So, yeah, if you did enjoy this episode review for season 1 of episode 1 for Lord of the Rings of Power, comment below and let me know your thoughts on it. Tap a like on this video if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you can to support the channel. I didn't want to spoil too much of what you're going to be getting for this episode, but it is a pretty long episode. You're in for an hour and 5 minutes of this episode, but it is really good, for sure. And I really enjoyed it. It's like an hour and 3 hour and 4 minutes, somewhere around there. But I really enjoyed this episode for what it was going for. So 10 out of 10 for this one. So I will be doing episode 2 review on sometime later today. I don't know when I'll be getting around to it. I gotta do some cleaning around my house from time to time, so I will do the best I can to get around to it as quickly as possible. But until then, I hope you enjoyed this episode review for season 1, episode 1, and I'm sorry about that phone call thing that was on my phone. It was important. I had to answer that call for a brief moment. So, with that being said, stay safe. Take care, guys. Hope you enjoyed this Lord of the Rings of Power, Season 1, Episode 1 review. And as always, I will see you in my next review.